name is Sonia Prince. I am the Teacher Preparation Program Coordinator for Franklin Pierce University. Franklin Pierce is a small, private, nonprofit university located in Ringe, New Hampshire. We offer a variety of teacher education preparation programs, and we're looking for your help in preparing our students to enter the workforce. Our students have field experiences that are embedded in their courses throughout the entire program here. They work alongside of experienced practitioners like yourselves to kind of get a feel of the classroom and what it would be like to be a teacher. In their final year here at Franklin Pierce, they have a student teaching internship as a capstone to their program. To be eligible to be a cooperative practitioner, one must have a credential in the content area in which you are mentoring our student, and you would also need to have held your credential for at least 3 years. We define a teacher participating in an early field experience as a host teacher and one who is participating in a student teaching experience as a cooperative teacher.
Greetings, my name is Joan Swanson and I am the Director of Education at Franklin Pierce University. Thank you for letting us share with you today. There are moments in our lives, and in particular in our careers as educators, where we celebrate. We realize that our work was not in vain. For example, that moment when you're working with a student who's learning how to read and they are feverishly trying to sound out a word, and then they get it. You both beam in triumph. Another time when you're teaching a math concept and you look around the room and you see the light bulb come on. They understood. These are moments that we remember. In education, we build on these moments. We walk our students through the process of learning. We scaffold so that they can do it on their own. At every stage, there are these moments. Sometimes we want to pull our hair out, and sometimes we just want to give up. But then there are these moments when we see we've made a difference. I would like you to think back about why you began in education. It's probably not for the vast amount of wealth that you will acquire, and more than likely it has something to do with the satisfaction you feel when you experience these moments where you've made a difference in a child's life. It likely stems back to really caring about kids and their future. What you do every day makes a difference in someone's future. Today, I would like to challenge you to take a moment and consider an opportunity to mentor a future educator in the process of making a difference in children's lives as well. As we go through the daily grind, sometimes the monotonous tasks of managing a classroom and groups of students happen, and we don't realize what stability and care we provide for them. We don't realize the example we set by our lives, by doing what we do every day. Sharing our classroom for students in fieldwork placements or student teaching gives them a glimpse of these moments that matter. The moments where we struggle, the moments where we succeed, the moments where we may wipe tears of sorrow or cry tears of joy. We open the door for these future educators to see the reality of education. I challenge you today to consider opening your door and adopting one of these new educators, whether it be for weekly visits or for a semester. You will certainly impact their lives, and just maybe they will also remind you of some of the moments in your time together, why you do what you do. Thank you for allowing us this moment to share with you the opportunity and to possibly take on a mentoring relationship with a future student. These Franklin Pierce University students will appreciate the time you give. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Molly Topp, and I'm a teacher in the School of Education at Franklin Pierce University, and I'm also a student teaching supervisor. And in this role, it's my honor and privilege to work with students sort of in the last stop before they graduate and take over classrooms of their own. They're placed in a school with a cooperating teacher, and they ultimately work until they take over the class on their own for 2-3 weeks. This is especially fun because I get to see them get their own voice and their own style and act like they feel at home in front of the class. It's nice to see them practice everything they've learned over their 4 years in the School of Education and take all of the observations and advice and readings and philosophy and research and really put it to use. When I observe, I try to add to their bag of tricks. I try to encourage them to make strong connections with their cooperating teacher and with the students that they're working with, to backwards plan, to make connections, and to really make sure that they're engaging and that they're teaching the children they are. I love this profession more than anything. I firmly believe that these brilliant young students are entering the most important, most meaningful, most fulfilling job there is out there. And it's a true honor to be working with student teachers in their last stop before they become teachers.
I actually was just recently looking back in my yearbook and from kindergarten, and we have a little section that says what you want to be when you grow up. And back in kindergarten, I wanted to be a teacher, and nothing's ever changed. It's been the same ever since. But maybe what made me want to become a math teacher was I always struggled in math. Was never my favorite subject. I was always in math support classes because I never could test out and complete my state testing to move on with the current curriculum that I was part of. So with that said, always had a negative connotation around math until high school, when I had a high school math teacher that she connected math to music, and it just clicked with me. And it clicked with me so much that it made me enjoy math and see it in really a different light. So I really enjoyed that experience. I'm so thankful for that teacher because she's really changed my life. And I hope that my experience growing up can change the lives of my students as well, knowing that I've also struggled in math, and I think I can understand it more from a student perspective with my experience.
Well, I had many different experiences working in college as a tutor, and also a supplemental instruction leader, which was responsible for kind of like being an assistant teacher and holding nightly review sessions for struggling students. I did this in many different economics classes on campus, statistics, and also a lot of different political science courses that were offered at the college that I went to. Part of my responsibility was creating lesson plans and executing those lesson plans in our review sessions to help students gain the skills that they needed to help pass the courses. So this is where I really got the idea that I wanted to possibly become a teacher in the future. Also, I really, throughout my whole life, have liked guiding students and seeing students, or just all my friends or anybody that's important to me, see them grow and develop and meeting their goals. So between my tutoring experiences and having a passion to see people reach their goals, that's why I wanted to become a teacher.
And I think my biggest mentoring moment from her is working on the TCAP with her and her showing me her experiences, as well as applying for jobs and helping me really looking at the bigger picture outside of the classroom after student teaching's over. Like, okay, what's the next steps?
He was very supportive throughout this whole process and really focused on my development from day one to the very last day of my student teaching experience. He had definitely had a positive impact on my development over the course of these 16 weeks. He took me under his wing. He wasn't afraid to give me any of his lesson plans and told me to adapt them to meet my teaching philosophy and what I wanted to do. He gave me great advice and feedback throughout my whole experience. And he actually took that, he wanted to take a lot of my different activities and added that to a thumb drive to use in the future, especially implementing technology. So it was a great experience, and we worked very well together.
The most helpful thing that she has done for me is really see the bigger picture besides just writing lesson plans and teaching them. Making sure that you're making connections with your students, knowing what's going on in their lives, I think another thing too is we just started working on every day of the week we've had different rosters, and she's been tallying every day who I call on, and we're now looking into seeing if there's a correlation if I'm calling on the same students or if I'm calling on more boys than girls, vice versa. So that's been a real eye opener for me, that you really can't get that experience from inside a college class and learning in the books. That's something that you need that real life experience for.
Once a day, we had a debriefing session about the day and what I did well and what he thought I could improve on, and also how to tweak maybe my lesson plans or tweak my execution in order to better execute that lesson.
I think what stood out most to me was one of two things. The first thing being how welcoming the school community was and the faculty in the building was to me. I remember my first day there, all the different other teachers in the building actually came down to the classroom just to meet me and introduce themselves. And it really made me feel like I was part of their team before even starting, really. So definitely feeling comfortable around the building, feeling that I'm valued there was definitely a huge impact on me.
Well, aside from teaching in the COVID-19 pandemic, which definitely brought very unique challenges, kind of bouncing back and forth between remote learning and in-person learning, was the many different support systems that I had from not only my cooperating teacher, but also from the very friendly professors that I had at Franklin Pierce University. I felt that if needed, I could always reach out to somebody and I would receive the help that I needed to help me gain the skills that I would need to be a successful teacher in the future.
Teaching both in person and remotely, seeing the impact on technology. Technology, I only see so much in my classroom, and now being in a student teaching placement and seeing what the school districts using different platforms, what my host teachers using different platforms, having that huge impact, because it's really shaping me into being a better teacher and incorporating more technology into my lessons. So with that said, I really hope that you consider hosting a student teacher and having an impact on their life, just like my host teacher did mine.